Donc lorsque je flingue, c'est toute ma putain de nation qui flingue avec moi. Tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Welcome back, everyone. With 3 rounds, we got Coach Terry, Jab University, Air Force, boxing team as well. How you been, man?
Pretty good. Working a lot lately. We don't have a head coach at the moment, so.
Okay. So your load gets a little heavier, I guess, when that. Okay.
All right. Class load and team load. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But you're for it. It's boxing, so I'm sure there's some goodness in there.
Yeah.
Just real quick, let me get your take. That body shot over the weekend, you saw that? It just broke up, just folded
it hurt
up.
me watching it, and I just kept watching it.
Yeah. And now they're talking. Is it Sue? Right? Is it Tim?
Tim Tszyu, yeah.
Tim Tszyu. So we'll see what happens there.
I think Tim Tszyu has to redeem that loss first.
Yeah.
We'll
see. So Virgil Ortiz is doing his thing over the weekend with the body shot everybody saw. But we're gonna go ahead and we're going to Oklahoma today to talk to a coach who's really had an impact in the scene out there locally. You hear her name often. You see her at the tournaments often. Boxers
in like every corner.
Yeah. All age levels. Getting ready to do some cornering for pros. So it's like there's a lot of things happening. So we're gonna go ahead and bring her in and see what's happening out in Oklahoma. Hey, Coach, how we doing? We can't hear you. Are you there?
You got to pull the headphones out.
Oh, let's see. I was just we were just talking. Let me see.
Unless she hit mute.
Let me see. Yeah. All right, Coach. I'm not hearing you. Is there a setting there, or maybe unplug and plug the headphones back in? See if that works. See, and we try to do this before, and it works good. You know what I mean? It works, and now I can't hear Coach. You know what? Go ahead and disconnect and just connect back in, and hopefully that fixes it. So we're just talking about Xfinity and their issues. So we'll see. This gives me a little break to mention that the youth camp.
I don't think she can hear us. You can hear us?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Can you like just disconnect and then log back in with it? Yeah.
Yeah, log off and then log back.
There we go. Just wanted to mention the youth camp is happening out there. And we have Josh is out there, but we have like 20 some boxers there out there.
Shifting weight classes too, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and this is it's like selection camp, so they're trying to get a spot for the team this year to be able to compete. But I think they're only, correct me if I'm wrong, they're only doing Olympic weight classes, right? Because there's a couple of those weights that, like Josh, for example, is 48.
I think because they're youth, they're doing one down. So
okay.
Elite's 110, youth is 106, juniors 101 is the minimum. So it's going to be like that. And then they're shifting people into the Olympic weight classes as they go. But I got a feeling Olympic weight classes might change because as far as I'm concerned, Marcus Luther's at 25.
Right.
That's an Olympic weight class, but they think they wanted him to go up. So I think 32 might be it. So I'll look at the roster and see what I got from Josh.
Yeah, no, I was looking at here. Let me see. We got Coach back in. All right, Coach, can we hear us? No, maybe. Can you hear us? I can't hear anything.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I can hear you now, but you're just not moving. Oh, there you go. You're moving.
Okay. You were like frozen a little bit, so I'm not sure. We're just gonna try to we're gonna keep going and see how it goes. But first of all, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here for a little bit. I know you said that the
no kids, problem. Thanks for having me.
The kids are still training, right? You got things to do, so I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to chat with us for a little bit. First question I like to ask everyone is how did you get involved? How do you get started with boxing?
No, I think she froze.
I think it's frozen. Oh, okay, there we go. Oklahoma, come on, Oklahoma. What's going on here? How's this internet being impacted over there? Like, What's going on? So, but yeah, I did see that roster. I was a little surprised that it was so big, but there's like, wait, it's a selection camp. So, but uh, like I saw one weight classes. There was like 3 boxers in there. I saw a couple weight classes where it's just with a. So,
Yeah, there's some shifting going around there. It's yeah, because I have a roster where they had the athletes, I guess, select the weight class they were going to. Like if there, so Josh stayed the same because she's 106,
right.
but Zakharova had to either go down to 106 to compete with Josh or go up one to compete with somebody else because that weight class is out. So yeah, it's
yeah,
complicated.
we'll definitely get into that. Let's see. All right, Coach. Can you hear
Let's
us?
see if this works. Better
All
outside.
Oh, perfect.
Outside is better.
All right.
Sounds good. All right. I don't know if you caught all of that, but essentially, if you could just give us, kind of your introduction to the sport. How do you get involved?
So I actually grew up watching boxing with my grandma. My grandma is a huge boxing fan. So I used to watch boxing with her when I was younger, draw her pictures of Mike Tyson. And so that's just something that I kind of got from my grandma. And being a girl in Oklahoma, I really didn't know how to get involved in boxing. I don't even know if I knew that it was a possibility. And so I did karate when I was younger. And then I started playing soccer, and I got really good at soccer and played at the collegiate level. And then when I was done playing soccer, it was like, man, what do I do? I've been an athlete my whole life. I gone to practice. I played games. Like, what do I do now? And an MMA gym opened up down the street from my house that had boxing. I never wanted to do MMA. I just wanted to do straight boxing, but they had a straight boxing class. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. If it's something I'm good at, then we'll keep going and see how far it takes me. If not, then at least I'll stay in really good shape exercising. And then it just kind of took off from there.
Okay. All right. So we all know coaching is a calling. What was the call to you that you answered?
So if you would have told me 15 years ago that I would have been coaching, I would have told you, no way, I don't have the time or the patience. My daughter plays soccer when she was little. Coach. No, I don't have the time or the patience. It just came natural to me, right? And so I got thrown into a situation where I left the MMA gym and I came over to a boxing gym. It was called Azteca Boxing at the time down here in Southwest Oklahoma City. And I was just training. I wasn't coaching, just training out of the gym. And one day, a professional boxer, I'm not going to name any names, but he came in here and he wiped the place out, like completely. Took the ring, he got into it with the guy that was running the place at the time and wiped the place out. No bags, everything, you name it. If he could take it, he took it. The only thing that was left was the heavy bags, the speed bag stands. And that's just because he couldn't break it down. So the guy that was running the gym at the time, he came back the next day and he was like, you know what, I'm done. I keep giving and doing for these kids. And this is how they repay me. I'm just going to hang it up. And I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. Like, I knew this was a safe haven for these kids on this side of town. Keep them off the streets, keep them out of trouble, give them a place to go after school. And so I came back the next day and I was like, look, when I was here, it was kind of just like, in my opinion, what I would call a daycare. There was no structure. It was go hit the bags, go jump rope, go do this, go do that. Kids out in the alley playing, basically kind of like a free for all. If one of the coaches thought you were good, they would pick you up and work with you. But besides that, there was like no real structure. I said, you know what, if you want to add to it, do it the right way, add structure, add discipline, then I would be interested in keeping it open and doing it with you. But if not, then I'm not interested. And he was interested. And so we just rebuilt the gym. Me and him, Eric Puente, we rebuilt the gym around me and him and 6 kids. We probably had 50 kids in the gym at the time. But when we told them what we were doing and we were rebuilding and it was going to take time. So we had probably 50 kids and about 5 coaches, and we ended up with just us 2 and 6 kids. So we completely rebuilt the gym around those 6 kids and us.
Oh, that talks about the commitment, and you were talking about just being a safe haven for the community and everything. Just an outlet. So sometimes they just need an outlet to kind of get occupied with. tell us about the scene now. Is there a lot of events? A lot of kids get to compete locally. Do a lot of them have to go to nationals to get work? Like, what's the amateur scene like around your area? And is there a lot of boxing gyms where you can have competitions there, or do you have to go out of state?
So it's getting better here in Oklahoma. Obviously, it's no Texas, it's no Cali or Philly or Ohio or anything like that. It's getting better than it was. But honestly, the way we do things, we have to go get it. We either have to go get it or we have to bring people to us, because right now, no disrespect, but there's nobody here in Oklahoma that's on our level that's going to challenge my kids to get them to the level that they need to be at. So we really have to travel. If you don't see us at shows, if you don't see us at tournaments, we're going to find the sparring. I don't know if you saw or not, but last week I brought 7 gyms here, 3 from Kansas and 4 from Texas, just to get that work in. To set up a sparring Saturday and Sunday. They stayed the night. We went both days. But usually getting them to Oklahoma is a little bit more difficult than us just going out and getting the work.
Okay, so in your opinion, what would help improve the Oklahoma boxing scene?
Coach, teaching. Mm-hmm. Teaching, not just throwing these kids. Oh, they've been in the gym 3 weeks. We're going to throw them in there. They've been in the gym 3 months. We're going to put them in their first fight. My kids have a certain route that they have to take in different classes that they have to go through. And, most of my kids are in the gym at least a year before I even put them into competition.
There you go. It's a brutal sport. You got to make sure you gave them the adequate amount of tools and know-how to be able to you only got 3 rounds to really be able to decipher your opponent, and it can go by quickly, and to be able to prepare them the take on that is definitely key. Now,
absolutely.
So you competed as a pro, right? I think when I checked on box record, it was like 8-1, some couple KOs. So it went from the span of 2012 to 2018, but there was a gap there. Can you just tell us a little bit of how you got into pro? Because you said you went to the gym and kind of just picking up the sport, but there was something for you to take it to the next level and actually compete. So tell us a little bit about that, and how does that pro experience help with your coaching now that you're doing?
So I've always been a competitor. Like I said, I played soccer most of my life at the collegiate level. So I've always been a competitor. And so obviously, if I had the chance to compete, I wanted to compete. And I'm very aggressive. I was aggressive when I played soccer. I like contact. I like contact sports. So that was no issue. My trainer, the guy that I started working with at this MMA gym, he was a boxing coach, and he basically told me at the time, let's train for a year and go straight pro, because more than likely, being an amateur and a girl in this area, we're going to travel around to all these fights, and you're not going to get matched because nobody's going to show up your age, your weight, and a female at the time. And I'm just okay. You got my best, I don't know. I'm new to the sport, right? So I just kind of followed his lead, and that's what we did. And we trained, and we're still cool today. And he's a coach at a gym across town. But it was more of not as much attention to detail in technique and fundamentals, more throw as many punches as fast as you can, outwork them, out hustle them. And, that works till you meet somebody that's got the conditioning along and the skill and the technique with that conditioning to go along with it. Right. So, right. I don't have a blanket over my eyes. I went 8-1. I wouldn't say that I ever fought like any top competition, but I was athletic and I had heart. And I believe that's what got me through a lot of my fights.
Okay. All right. So when I started seeing you, I was like, man, she's in everybody's corner, right? Like, how does that come about? It's like, hey, Coach Nikki, you want to work my corner, or is this like you build a relationship with him? But I've seen you from your guys, Eric Valencia, the little Noriega kid. Then you had Nadia Ibarra, and I've seen you in little Edgar's corner. I just see you in a lot of corners. Like, how does that come about?
So a lot of it is relationships and friendships that have been built throughout the years at different smokers at different tournaments. And then some of it I'm not gonna lie, this last tournament in Albuquerque, I had Casey Dial's coach come up to me on like couple hours before her fight, and I know him, I've met him at different tournaments, but I wouldn't say like we were best friends or anything like that, or hung out. And he's like, man, I've been looking for you for 2 hours. I got a problem. You're the only one I want in her corner, and just spitting all. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then the same thing with I was in Christian Ortiz's corner in Albuquerque for the finals, and it was the same thing. His dad came up to me and he was like, yo, I really like you in the corner. You're loud and you give good instruction, and you're nice and you're beautiful. Like, I like that. So hey, do you mind helping me in Christian's corner? And I, of course, why not?
Yeah, that's great. And looking for you 2 hours. Hey, he definitely wanted you to be in that quarter. That's great. So real quick, 3-round slide, number 187. We're out in Oklahoma talking to Coach Nikki Burleson, trainer and owner of Rival Boxing Gym out there. Can't get away with it. Got the logo right there on the shirt. And every time when you guys do a club show that you're just competing, the fit is right. You got the Rival
fit is
logo.
right.
You got to make sure you look
nice good,
and,
feel good,
hey,
fight
that's
good.
What it is. That's what it is. So definitely a way you can pinpoint where the team is at. So, as far as like, when you were competing, kind of picking up the sport, and then you went and transitioned over to coaching, are you of the mindset where you have a system of what you kind of want to train your kid, you want your kids to kind of know, or do you kind of adapt to, because boxers, they're a little different, they don't all have the same skills, the same approach. Are you kind of seeing what works best for them, or do you have a system that you want them to adapt to? Like, what is your approach?
So man, I'm not gonna lie, starting out, I didn't know anything. I was coming into the game new. I probably only had been boxing for probably 2 or 3 years when I started coaching. So I'm looking at all these other coaches, like we're at sparring sessions, we're at different gyms, and I'm watching them, see what can I pick up from them, what can I learn from them, what can I bring back to my guys. Another big key was we don't just use Rival. They actually sponsor us. We're actually sponsored by Rival Boxing Gear. So we don't just use their name. And so the guy that owns Rival, his name is Russ Amber. You probably seen him in a lot of corners, world champions.
From Canada,
yeah, he's from Canada. And so I met him, I think, at my 4th fight, and he gave me his card, and he was like, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. And so when all that happened with the gym, we reached out to a couple, ringside title. Nobody was really interested in helping us out. So I was like, you know what? He said if we needed anything, let him know. So I reached out to him. And so that's kind of how that, I told him what happened. And that's kind of how that sponsorship happened. But then not only that, he kind of took me underneath his wing, and he kind of mentored me and taught me, and not just do this or do that, but do this, and this is why, and let me show you why, and let me show you the difference in what you're doing and what you should be doing, and the difference it's going to make in the ring or your performance or whatever. So I learned a lot from him. He took me under his wing and basically broke it down step by step. And so I learned a lot from him. And then that's when I just started taking it back to the kids and watching videos, watching YouTube videos, different people, and taking it back to the kids. And that's how I started teaching them.
Nice.
All right. So in this sport, you are a rarity, right? It's you Coach Gloria Peak. Let's see. Javier Rich's mom.
Don't forget my
it's supposed-
girls. Don't forget Deb. Don't forget Deb.
But it's not that many of you.
Right.
You
There's
know
not.
what I mean? It's Nora. It's it's everybody at Beautiful Brawlers. It's not that many. It's literally like both hands. This is the women that are coaches. In this game. For one, do you see it as an advantage or a disadvantage? And like, what is the adversity you're facing being in pretty much a male dominated field?
So at first it was rough. I could tell you a story at my first nationals, just getting these guys respect and, get them to look at you like you actually know what you're doing. So I'll never forget my first national tournament was 2016 JOs in Dallas. And I had a kid by the name of Edgar Trejo. And I believe we won our first fight and we were going into the quarterfinals against a kid from New York. And they were watching us warm up, and the kid's coach is like smiling and laughing. And, you could just tell. I got vibes off people. I could tell. I knew what he was talking about. I knew. And, I'm talking my kid up or whatever. And we go to the glove table and we glove up. And we walk by him and he shoulder checks me.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, he shoulder checks me. And I just laughed. I just laughed it off, turned around, laughed at him, laughed it off. I was like, all right, we're about to see.
Wow.
Well, my kids, I don't know, how much you've talked to my kids, but my kids don't play about me. They do not play about me. Mm-hmm. And so he saw that and he took that to heart. And he went in there and beat the brakes off of that kid and got the unanimous decision. And just the look on that coach's face in the other corner after we beat him, whether you guys want to admit it or not, guys don't like losing to girls, especially in this sport.
I get so many sisters and I hate losing to them if anything.
Right. So in the beginning, I feel like it was really rough because I felt like I had to prove myself and I had to, show everybody that I belong. And then once my fighters started progressing and once we started going to more tournaments and more shows and these guys started realizing, okay, she's coming along, she's bringing these kids along, to now where we're at right now, I think I have gained a lot of respect in the sport and from the other coaches. But I'll still get it. I'll still get people walking into the gym and I'll have a full conversation with them and they'll be like, okay, well, can we talk to the coach? Like, you're talking to the coach.
Yeah.
Or they'll call on the phone and they'll be like, okay, well, will you have the coach call me when he gets in? Well, you're talking to the coach.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
So,
look at
yeah.
that. So, but then they find out, right? They find out.
They find out.
That's what it is. So, when you're talking about just how you kind of got thrown into the coaching aspect of the game, with a little bit of experience and try to kind of soak up kind of what other coaches were doing when you were sparring or competing against and see what you can kind of bring into your toolbox. But you had the opportunity to go out to, I want to say it was Chula Vista.
Yes, I did.
For training camp. I want to say it was the junior. Was it the junior team?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it was the junior team.
Talk about that a little bit. I'm assuming you like to learn. I'm assuming you were trying to get as much experience and just learn a lot from it. So talk us through that whole experience and what you came away with.
So absolutely, it was just about going in there, being open-minded, being around like-minded people, like-minded coaches, with top-level elite athletes, and just adding more tools to my toolbox. There's a lot of things that I took away from that camp that I did bring back to my kids. And, there's things you're going to like and there's things you're not going to like about everything. So that's what I do. Just stay open-minded. And, I go out and try to get as much knowledge as I can to put my guys in the best situation that I could put them in for them to progress and for them to get better and keep developing throughout their careers. It doesn't bother me. Like I'll spend the time, I'll spend the money. I spent a week with Sugar Hill out in Vegas. I took a couple of the boys early to the women's tournament to train with Team Cartel and spar Team Cartel. And, you know, the whole time I'm coaching my guys, but at the same time, I'm listening to these other top level coaches or coaches that I respect or coaches that I know produce high level athletes. And so I'm watching, I'm listening. Sometimes you'll even see me when my kids aren't sparring. Like I'll just be in the back of the corner. I'm just observing. I'm just soaking it all in. I don't have that pride or that ego where I already know everything and my way is the way, and no, we don't need to listen to you, or no, give it to me, all of it. And well, I'm gonna take back what works for us.
That's it. That's a great mindset. Great.
Yeah. So all these years of coaching, what is the best piece of coaching advice you've ever received?
The best piece of coaching advice I've ever received. They're gonna break your heart.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They're gonna break your heart, and you got to keep going. You can't let one derail you.
Yeah. That happens often, and it's part of it, you know. And you hate to see it, but that's why, you know, you're even more dedicated to those ones that do stick around or do come in before, you know, are there first or leave last kind of guys, you know, that really want it, and you hope to get one of those when you know, when you coach, because there's a lot of talent, but you know, if the talent don't work hard, you know, we all know the saying, you know what I mean? So
right.
So it's great, but you know, we had Eric Valencian, and it does speak volumes to the way that they're being coached. It reflects good on you, you know, and being able to do that. And but when you get ready to compete, we usually ask the boxer, you know, hey, you know, they're wrapping your hands up, like, how are you getting mentally prepared to get there and compete? How are you getting them in the right state of mind, or just ready for them to go in the ring and execute what you know that they can do? How do you know, make sure that they are in that right state of mind before they get in there? Because they still got to go through those ropes, and they got somebody else across from them.
Like pre-fight?
Yeah.
So pre-fight, my kids, we don't go to the venue until it's time for us to go back to the warm-up area. My kids like to be wrapped up in the hotel room. They don't like to go to the venue to get wrapped up. So basically they're just listening to their music, staying nice and relaxed and calm. Usually we'll go into a fight with like 3 things. And so while I'm wrapping their hands, sometimes I'll repeat those 3 things just to keep it in their mind, keep them thinking about those three things, and give them something to think about. If there's that negativity slipping in, if there's that doubt slipping in, you know, they could kick it out and go back to, I'm focused on these 3 things. These 3 things are what I'm focused on for this fight. And then we'll go over to the venue and we'll warm up, and we actually do the USA Boxing pre-match warm up. I brought that back from camp and they liked it. They really enjoyed it. And they said they could tell a difference now, whether they can or not. If it's mental, it works, it works, right? But basically it's just a lot of positive reinforcement, you know, no negativity. I'm not a big hype man, but just positive reinforcement.
And then when you do go through the bout, and you know, at the end of the day, we hope everything goes good and you get the hand raised and everything is positive off that. But how do you deal with when the decision doesn't go your way? You know, there's a little bit of setback. It doesn't, you know, maybe it's at a championship bout early in the tournament. Like, how do you make sure that you let them know that this is just part of that process? You know, you just got to trust what's happening. But you know, nobody likes to lose. How do you deal with some of those boxers to be able to make sure that they're, you know, getting ready for the next one?
So it depends on the outcome and depends on the situation. You know, if it's a tough, close fight, you know, that could have gone either way, you know, I'm being positive with them, you know, especially at a national tournament. You know, in my opinion, at a national tournament, when you get to a certain level in certain round of the tournament, those kids could fight 4 days and you could have a different winner all 4 days. It sometimes it's that close. So if it's something like that, hey, any given day, either one of you could win. It's that close. We still gotta, just keep pressing, go back to the gym, work on what we need to work on. After the fight, I still try to stay pretty positive. If they really lost or performed bad, or I might tell them a few things, like, that was on you. Like, you didn't show up, you didn't listen, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But I really still try to keep it positive, let them decompress, let them go through all of their emotions. And we really don't talk about it until like 24 hours after, until they've had time to process and deal with their emotions and their feelings. Because I just believe, like, when they're really in their emotions and they're really upset and they're not hearing you, they're not really hearing what you're saying.
Yeah. True. Coach?
So I've got a chance to like witness the evolution of women's boxing. When it was just pretty much Christy Martin and whoever they brought to fight her, and then Mia St. John showed up later, and it was 2003, the first women's world's championships, and then now we got the women in the Olympics. We're getting medals. Matter of fact, we're probably getting more medals from the women's side than we are on the men's side.
Yeah.
Now you, and first it was just Coach Gloria Peak. Now it's you and a whole bunch of ladies that are coaching. Like, what is like the catalyst to like getting women like more fully involved? Because even some weight divisions, age divisions, still one fight here, 2 fights max at a tournament. Like, how are we going to get these girls to want to come into the sport? Is it having more women coaches that them and their moms can relate to? What we're going to do to bring more and more of them in?
Yeah, I think that has a little bit to do with it. I don't know if it's got a lot to do with it, but a little bit to do with it. Whenever you're traveling to these tournaments, or you're traveling to a show or something, that the parents can't go to, they're going to be more comfortable sending them with a female than they are a male by themselves. So I think that's just common sense. That's just out there. But I think it's just the more exposure. You've seen what it's done throughout through the past couple of years, through the few years, that it's gotten bigger, and more girls have gotten involved, and more girls are on TV, and more girls are being in main events.
They get money now. Yeah.
They get money now. They're not boxing for crumbs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just more of that in the little girls seeing that. I mean, it's just like the little boys growing up and seeing Michael Jordan on TV. I want to be like Mike. I think that's what it takes, is they have to see it. Like me being a girl, when I was little, I would have loved to do it. I'm telling you, I wish if I would have started boxing when I was 8 years old, boo, you better watch out.
Yeah.
But
but
like, I didn't even know it existed really in Oklahoma. I didn't really know it was an option. And so I think just more exposure and just getting it out there more is the big thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent on the amateur side, a lot of talent on the pro side. It's been evolving just exponentially. I think it's going to continue to do so, and I'm right here for it. So now, I was kind of flipping through just social media and just kind of seeing, reading up on you and what you've been doing, and I came across this documentary, or short kind of documentary that was put together recently. Built Different is the title of it. I think it was Michael. Is it Zubak? The last name? Okay.
Yes.
So I wanted to show a little clip here, but I couldn't get the video to work properly. But just tell us a little bit about that. There's a lot of like, you really get a sense of what you guys are trying to build and out in Oklahoma. So tell us a little bit about how the project came about and just the whole process, and how does it feel that you're getting your story out there, getting a little bit more, letting people know what's happening down there.
Yeah, so I've had a few people reach out to me in the past saying that they want to do a documentary on the gym, especially being a female coach in a male dominant sport, and the respect that I have from my fighters and that my fighters give me, and the level that I've been able to take them to. But nothing's ever come of it, really. It's just like, I want to do it. And we talk, but nothing ever comes of it. So I got this message on Instagram from Michael Zubak, asking me to contact him. And so I contacted him, and I actually looked at his profile before I contacted him, and I saw that he worked for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so then when I reached out to him and contacted him, he basically said the same thing. He said he was the videographer for Oklahoma City Thunder, that he did their hype videos, all their videos, any of the documentaries that have come out for the Thunder. He's worked on them or been a part of them. And he wanted to do an independent short doc on a sports doc on something here in Oklahoma City. But we're big for football, we're big for basketball and baseball and wrestling. He's like, I wanted to do something different. And so I told him, yeah, you come by the gym, check it out, let me know what you think. People have told me this before, but nothing has ever come of it. But yeah, that's just more exposure for me. It's more exposure for the kids. I'm cool with it. And he came and checked it out. And he liked what he saw. He thought it was cool. He really liked the atmosphere and the vibes, and the way that the kids interacted with each other. And so, yeah, he said, let's do this. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And again, not knowing where it was going to go, what it was going to lead to, if it was really going to happen or not. But so he followed us around for probably the past year. He didn't go to like every show or every tournament, but he was able to make it to practices and a few shows and a few tournaments. And so he put this documentary together, and he really goes into detail on me and my assistant coach, Jawan Cubitt, and 3 of our fighters. Kind of tells their story, tells our story, what we're trying to do and what we're about. And as much as you can and the best you can in 20 minutes, right? Yeah,
definitely. There is a 2-minute clip out there recommended for anybody. And I'm trying to see where I can see the whole thing. So it looks.
So we just got notice. We just got notice this past week. It got accepted to the Dead Center Film Festival here in Oklahoma City, which is a huge film festival here in Oklahoma City. And so it's been selected to premiere at that film festival in June.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Like I said, there's real production quality to it. It really gives you the stories raw. I'll put a link up. It's worth seeing, and just great to have that kind of exposure. Not only yourself and the kids, but just the sport of boxing and women's boxing and all that. So it was one of those things that I recommend people checking out. So
it's legit, and I'm not just being biased.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's talk Eric Valencia, right?
Let's talk.
It's a cool little thing. He's actually lives in Kansas. Travel stays with you, or comes and travels stay with you. How did that come about? Him being from somewhere else, his parents trusting him to go on his own and stay with you, and in a pretty brutal sport, away from home. Like, that's an awesome relationship there, and the kid can really fight. You know what I mean? Like, how did that all come about, and like, how is it going? Like,
so that's a cool story. Boxing it's a small, the small community. Once you start going to these shows, once you start going to these tournaments, you see the same people over and over and over, as long as they stick with the sport. And so I've been watching Eric and seeing Eric at shows and tournaments since he was 8 years old. And so how this came about, and he's always been nice. He's always been polite. We've always had good communication, even I think a couple of my fighters even fought him a couple of times. But there was a show up in Garden City, and one of my kids was the main event. Against Eric, and he got hurt. So I had another kid in my gym that was novice. He wasn't open yet. And so I called him and I was like, look, not him. I called the guy that was putting on the show. And I was like, hey, look, my kid got hurt, but I know Eric's the main event in Garden City. He sells a lot of tickets in Garden City. There's nothing to do in Garden City besides go to the boxing show that night. And I said, so I have somebody that can replace him. I said, he's not open, he's novice. And of course, you know, are you crazy?
Yeah.
You gonna put your novice kid in with Eric? And I'm like, look, I've been watching Eric since he was 8 years old. I know how he fights, and I know how my kid fights. I said, we might not win, but we're not gonna get hurt. And they were like, man, are you really sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And so we went in there. Even at the fights, people are pulling me over. Are you crazy putting this kid in there? He only has 8 fights. You know how many fights Eric has? And I'm like, just trust me. Like, my kids are like my own kids. I would never put them in harm's way. I would never put them in danger. So if I'm doing that, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, just trust me, just watch, right? And we gave him, I still give him a hard time because I still think we did enough to win. But
he's your fighter now. You got
he's my fighter now, but he wasn't then. The other kid was my fighter then. And so, you know, like it was close, you know, it went back and forth until the third round, and then Eric kind of took the third round over. But for my kid with 8 fights to hang with this kid with however many fights he had at the time, I'm not sure, but I know it was a lot. And so we got out of the ring, and we were talking, and we were packing up, getting ready to go. And Eric came over, and he was like, man, you don't have a single kid on your team that's not good. And he was like, there's nothing for me here in Garden City. I think I'm gonna come check you guys out and train with you for a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, you know what? You know, talk to your coaches first, talk to your parents, and let me know. You know, 16, 17 years old. I'm like, oh, he's just talking. He's not going to come 5 hours away. And so he called me, and he was like, hey, I'm really serious about it. I talked to my parents about it. And and they're cool with it. They just want to talk to you. But I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down for a month. That's what he said. I'm going to come down for a month. And so he came down. And I was like, well, let's just try 2 weeks first. You know, like, we may not vibe, we may not mesh, you know, and that's really important in a coach and fighter relationship. So let's just see. Let's try 2 weeks and see. And the kid came down and never left. And so, you know, like, I had conversations with them, and, you know, it's nothing against him, nothing against his old, you know, his other coaches or his you know, anything like that. Is just, he asked me about that fight, and I was like, I know how to beat you. I know how, like, you don't do well with movement. Like, you don't do well with movement. You know, you have to be, now don't sit and bang with him. Do not sit and bang with him.
Yeah.
But if you got someone, but if you had someone that was nice on their feet, it could just box and move, you had a chance.
Look at that.
And so that's kind of what, you know, I told him, like, you need to become more of a well-rounded fighter. You add more tools to your toolbox. We know you can bang, but can you box? Can you move? Yeah. And, you know, he had a losing record when he came to us. He went to the national tournaments, and he was first rounded. He was out the first round of every national tournament he went to before he came to us. And now, I mean, the kid has made leaps and bounds of improvements. Yeah. And he sees it. He sees it, and he likes it. And we teach here. And the kids like that. And we have discipline, and we have structure. And as much as people think that kids don't like that, they do. They want that. They need that.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. You know, next time I talk to Eric, I'll ask him about that fight. Who won? Who won? Because I don't know, man. So, you know, Coach Terry kind of alluded to that as far as this being a calling. This is what you do when you get to it and you realize that you are a boxing coach. Everything else, all the sacrifice, all the things that you have to do, and that's just part of it. You kind of understand that. But usually as the boxers, like, how do you what do you do when you're not in the gym, right? Like, what do you do outside of the gym? So that question to you, like, how do you balance like personal life and boxing? I don't know, because you have a kid and you got things that to take care of that are outside of boxing. But is it just boxing 24/7 and everything just kind of bounces, goes off that? Like, what do you do?
So some days I don't even know how I do it. Some days I don't even know how I do it. But basically, yes. I mean, I have a full-time job. I'm a physical therapist assistant. So I go to people's houses and treat them, do exercises with them, or help them walk, help them move, basically. So I work from 8 to 5, 8 to 4. And then I come to the gym, and I'm at the gym until 9:30. And so it is a lot of sacrifice. I do have a daughter. When she was younger, she would come, hang out, tag along, stuff like that. Now she's older. She's 18. She plays soccer, and I do miss a lot. I do miss a lot of her stuff, and she understands it. She doesn't really throw it in my face that much unless she's mad at me. then she'll bring it up. But I try to do the best that I can. I know these kids need me, and I need these kids too. Like, it keeps me sane. I didn't think this is what I would be doing, or this would be my passion or my calling, but never say never.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I said when I decided to become a coach, it was like, I took a vow of poverty. There was no money in it. But
oh man.
But like talking about with Eric and your other fighters, like, how important is chemistry?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. Chemistry, in my opinion, is everything. And that's one of the things that the guy that did the documentary, Michael, that's kind of one of the things he said. I mean, you have my 10-year-old, my youngest on my team, my 10-year-old, laughing and joking around with my 22-year-old and my 20, it's just a chemistry, a vibe. In my opinion, it's huge for the coach and the athlete, but for my gym and my team is huge. And so I had a lot of people say, oh, why don't you become a PAL? Or have you thought about getting funding from the city, or this, that, and the other? And to those that do that, amazing, great. But my opinion said, the minute I do that, I have to accept everybody and anybody that walks through that door. And anybody and everybody that walks through that door is not a fit for my team and my guys and the goals and the path and the direction that we're headed right now. And so being a private gym, I don't have to be rude, but I could say, oh, we're full. I'll put your name on the waiting list and then see what happens. But I try to do evaluation, try to get vibes off people. And you just know, I know the type of kids I have. I know their personalities. I know, what they're going to vibe with and what they're not going to vibe with. But I mean, it's huge for us. It's huge for us. And especially like when we go to tournaments, I mean, these guys are on it. Like, I don't even go to weigh-ins. I'm not going to lie. I'm a spoiled coach. I don't even go to weigh-ins. Eric gets my guys up. He gets them weighed in, checks their weight. If there's a problem, I go over. But Eric gets them up, checks their weights, takes them to weigh-ins. They weigh in, go eat breakfast. Like, we've got it. I don't want any disruption to that.
Yeah.
No disruption to that.
Sounds like a good life right there.
Yeah, right? Have to be there at 6, 7 a.m.
Right?
I'm upset that my kids can't really drive yet,
Right?
Man,
Eric even said the other day, he said, I'm probably still going to go to nationals with y'all, even when I go pro, so I could do this for Nikki.
there you go. Yeah, and shout out real quick, Team Baby Bug. Just talking, just good things about you, and Jose Cruz. Just saying,
Oh yeah,
that you've
little
been
G-Man.
G-Man, and and then when we posted out there that we were going to have you on and have a conversation with you, I saw people sharing and making sure tune in and do all that. So you're definitely having an impact in the community, and the community is there for it. They want to see you win. They support what you are doing, for the youth around there. So how does that continue pushing you and driving? Because there's got to be some times where training camp is long, or this trip to get some sparring didn't pan out. Something happened, came back, nothing worked. Like there's got to be some times where there's maybe a little frustration that can set in, or can kind of say if I'm looking for an out, maybe this is an out. Like how do you kind of refocus and make sure that you keep on track to doing what you want to do? Because so many people are out there, feeding off that.
Just that support that you're talking about, and the kids. Excuse me. I want to say that I'm probably really lucky in the fact that my kids definitely let me know that they appreciate me and appreciate everything that I do for them. And anytime, like they did a show at Kansas City Golden Gloves, and they interview the kids after their fights. Anytime my kids are interviewed, or anytime anybody says anything to them or asks them anything, they're very appreciative, and they make sure that they mention me in every interview that they do, and thank me for my time, and thank me for taking them all the places that I take them and getting them the things that they need. They message me on a weekly basis, thanking me, appreciating me, making sure I'm having a good day. Just different things like that. So when you're making a difference in people's lives, and you're helping them, and you're helping them follow a dream, and you're part of their journey, it makes it easier. And the support that you get from outside, like I said, the people hunting me down in Albuquerque to work the corners, like that makes you you're doing something right. If they're coming to find you to work corners, of the finals, in the finals, not just Monday fights. We're talking Saturday fights. And so that's what keeps me going. That's what makes it worth it to me. It does get tiring sometimes. You wonder, is it worth it? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? But they make sure that they let me know that they appreciate it. And so that really keeps me going.
Awesome.
All right. So over the years, like what has boxing taught you about Coach Nikki?
So it really brought my personality out. It really brought me out as a person. Before I started boxing, I was really shy, really quiet. And like, if I would introduce myself to you, I would probably like shake your hand and look down at the ground. And just, so it really helped me with my with self-confidence, and it really brought that out of me. Like I probably wouldn't even have done this like 12 years ago. I'd have been like, nah,
Yeah.
And so just the confidence, that it's self-esteem and discipline, just everything that goes along with boxing, what you learn in a boxing gym, what you learn competing about yourself, getting knocked down and getting back up, and going through everything, going through all of the motions. So
yeah, definitely. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I've reached out to some boxers, some coaches that I'm like, hey, jump on, let's have a conversation. It's like, no, I don't want to. They're just, so it's one of those things that repetition, experience, you'll eventually kind of get comfortable with the whole situation. So real quick, 3 rounds live, number 187. We're talking to Coach Nikki Burleson out in Oklahoma, trainer and owner at Rival Boxing Gym. We're going to gather our last couple of questions here. I know you were, before, we were trying to schedule when you were going to jump on, you were telling me about how you got a busy, couple of days coming up. I think you're going to be Emmanuel Moreno. I think he's going to have a pro boxing bout. You're going to be involved with that and some other stuff. What's happening? What are you going to be involved with the next couple of days?
Yeah, you guys say some prayers for me because it's going to be a crazy 24 hours for me. So I actually leave Thursday morning to go to Houston. Manny Moreno is fighting Friday night on DAZN. So I'll be working his corner. And then I got pulled into working Malik Montgomery. I don't know if you've heard of him or not.
Yeah,
but
Malik fight 130, I think.
I'm not sure. This will be my first time working with him. I looked him up. I looked his amateur stuff
was
up
with
on
Kenny
USA
Porter.
Boxing.
Yeah, he was with Kenny
He's
Porter
out in Vegas.
Yeah. Kick a punch.
Yeah.
Kick a punch.
Yeah, so this will be my first time working with them. I guess they said they needed somebody in the corner, and they asked me if I would be in the corner. So I think he's the main event.
Yeah, he's fighting Daniel Bailey. Man, yeah.
Yeah, so
fight.
so I got that fight. I got those two fights Friday night, and then I think I'm at the Houston airport at 3 a.m. to fly to Kansas City for Isaac Carlos pro debut.
Oh, yeah.
And Noah Aldana's second pro fight.
Noah Aldana, yeah, and Isaac. Is his nickname Brown Sugar? Is that what I saw?
It is.
I gotta ask him about
Brown
that
Sugar.
I like it.
There we go. I don't know. We had him on.
That's my guy.
We had him on, and I don't know if we asked him the nickname question, but if I would remember if it was Brown Sugar. But anyways, I did see that. So yeah, you got a busy couple hours there that you're going to be going back and forth the zone. And now that you're being involved more in these boxers that are now pro, like, is the coaching different, or are you doing a lot of the same things that you kind of did? You just kind of tweaking them a little bit because it is a pro game. It's a slower pace, more rounds. Like, how are you adjusting to that?
So I think really the adjustment to that, the coaches that have these guys that I'm helping with, they already teach them a pro style for the most part. And so there's not, in my opinion, they didn't fight like amateurs in the amateurs. They fought more of a pro style in the amateurs. So a little bit of tweaking here and there. These guys, I don't train them full time. They have just asked me to help them out in the corner. And I mean, they take advice from me and they take my opinions, but mostly for these guys, I leave it up to them, and I just give my 2 cents here and there when I see what I see, and let them do everything else. So I'm basically being brought in to wrap the hands and work the cuts and give them my opinion and my views on what I see during the fight.
There you go, which is all important. So, Coach, you got any final questions?
Yeah, I just want to say that card on May 3rd is stacked. Ooh. Malik versus Daniel Bailey is going to be great. Troy Nash is on that card.
Troy Nash is going to be on that card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good card, man. And then, of course, it's boxing, so they're going to put you on the earliest fight possible to go back the next day, and you're still working more fights. I guess that's the cost of doing business, Coach. But if you had a magic wand and you could fix anything about this sport, no matter what it is, what would you fix?
Oh, man. Whew. Just one thing?
Just one thing, though.
Just one thing?
We'll give you two. Oh, yeah.
Just let's quit protecting the O's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's fight.
It's not that important.
No, let's really just see the best fight the best.
Yep.
And you're gonna make your money. Whether you win or lose, the best fight the best, you're gonna make your money. And especially if it's a good fight, it's not gonna derail you. It's not gonna set you back. If you're fighting the best of the best and it's a close fight, could have gone either way, or an exciting fight, you're not gonna lose money.
Yeah. No.
Do you want to be perfect or do you want to be great?
Right. Boxing's a business. You know what I mean? Right. You got to get people to buy tickets, and they just worried about what's going to happen that night. Not what happened a couple months ago. So, Coach, I feel like we can continue talking, but we're at that hour mark. So just go ahead and give out your shout outs, thank yous. Where can people follow you, as you go through this boxing journey?
So basically just give a shout out to my team. You know, they make me, they're the reason that I am who I am. A reflection of me, yes, but they put in the work and they go out and showcase their skills for you guys to see. So shout out to my team, shout out to my family, my mom, my grandma, everybody, anybody that's watching. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Nikki Burleson, and you can follow the team, Rival Boxing Gym OKC, on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to check out that Built Different trailer.
Yes, I gotta put it out, put it on the story or something. It really intriguing, you know, and like I said, I love that opens up a different audience to potentially see what you're doing. You know, you try to get that on a main scale, a big scale, and you never know who's watching at that point. So
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
always good. It's always good. So once again, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. A great conversation. I think there was a little bit of everything. So anybody who didn't see the whole interview, we're going to post it up. So go ahead and rewatch the whole thing. A lot of gems, a lot of good insight of what's happening out in Oklahoma and just the journey that you kind of gone through, and a little bit about your team or everybody else. So real quick, Thursday when we come back, we're going to talk to David Delgado out of California. He was competing in the Olympic trials, 125. I can't remember what weight class. Maybe 112. I'm not sure. He was
112 because he fought crack.
Right. There you go. 112. So we're going to talk to him and see what he's doing. A lot of boxers tend to go pro after the trial, so maybe that's something we'll talk. But with that, appreciate everybody staying to the end, listening to the only podcast solely dedicated to amateur boxing. Coach, appreciate your time, and just shout outs and everybody appreciates what you're doing, and you're doing a great thing for not only yourself and your gym, but for the community. You're giving an outlet, which is big. So
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You get at my boy Brandon Noriega.
Oh yeah, Eric kept talking about him. We're gonna definitely get at him.
Get at my boy. All right,
definitely. You guys have a good night. Take it easy.
Thank you.
All right, later, guys.
Okay.